So vinyl DJing might seem complicated if you've never done it before, especially setting up a pair of turntables with a mixer, but it's actually relatively easy. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you set up a pair of Technics SL-1210 MK2 turntables with a Pioneer DJM-800 mixer. So this is the equipment: a pair of Technics SL-1210 MK2s and a Pioneer DJM-800 mixer. Now the turntables are considered industry standard. They've been around for more than 40 years and are arguably the best DJ turntables ever created. The mixer in the middle, this is around 20 years old, was industry standard, but Pioneer are always upgrading their mixers. It's still a very, very good and powerful mixer. It's got 4 channels, so it's easy to expand your DJing setup if you want to add CDJs to your setup alongside your turntables. But in this video, I'm just going to concentrate on setting up vinyl turntables with the mixer and getting you going. So this is the Technics SL-1210 turntable. It's a very, very heavy piece of kit and very sturdy. It's quite basic in setup, and in terms of connecting it to the mixer, we have 3 connectors that we use. We obviously also have a power cable as well to deliver power to the unit. Then 3 connectors here. So we've got a pair of RCA jacks for left and right channels and a very, very thin cable, which is our ground cable. These 3 connect directly to the back of the mixer, and I will show you next what the back of the mixer looks like and how we connect the turntables to the mixer. That was f***ing heavy. So this is the Pioneer DJM-800 4-channel mixer. So as we can see, we've got 4 sliders here, each controlling a channel. Then we've got our EQs for each channel, which are here. Then we've got trim, which is our gains. And then we've got some color effects down here as well. I will talk more about those in another video. In terms of connecting things to the mixer, on the back, quite a lot of connectors there, but we were only really interested in 3 connectors for each channel for these turntables. Obviously our left and right RCA inputs and our ground, which both of the ground cables for each turntable will connect in here. So here we are around the back of the mixer. We've got our inputs for each channel here. So on channel 1, we've got a CD input and line input, meaning we can't connect our turntables to channel 1. Channels 2, 3 and 4 have a CD or line input and phono inputs. So we're only going to be connecting our turntables to phono. Only ever connect turntables to a phono input. Do not connect turntables to a CD or line input. Here are the connectors from the turntables. They are coloured, red and black. And as you can see, the colours on the mixer are red and white. So the black one can go into the white and the red will obviously go into the red. So the red is the right channel. We'll plug that in there. And the black going into the white input is the left channel. Then we've got this very, very flimsy, dainty cable. This is our ground cable. This will get rid of any interference from the turntable and will ground into the mixer. And we just need to connect this in here and then tighten this up. We'll connect our other turntable into the phono input for channel 3, and we'll also connect that ground cable into the same place on this mixer as well. So to get audio from our mixer out to our speakers, I'm going to use the left and right master outputs using XLR cables here. There are outputs as well here with our master output and our record output. So if you want to record mixes to an external device such as a laptop, a computer, or an external recorder, you would use recording, but that's not what we're going to get into in this video. So I'm going to use these XLR output cables that go directly to our speakers. I always recommend using XLR as they're a balanced output and they're just higher quality cables to use. And we just connect those into our mixer like such. Also, we'll need a power for our mixer as well, which goes in here. It's just a standard kettle lead, which look like these, and that will plug in like that. So we now have our turntables connected to our mixer. We have our left turntable going into channel 2 and our right turntable going into channel 3. And as we can see, they are connected there. What we do need to make sure is that we change our inputs at the top of the mixer both to phono, and this then means that the mixer knows that our inputs for these two channels are turntables. So the next thing I want to talk about is this. This is the needle or stylus. What that does is it takes the vibrations from a piece of acetate or vinyl, converts them into an audio signal, which it then sends to the mixer. There's a lot of different types that you can get, but the best make for DJing is Ortofon, and this particular one is a Concorde DJS, and they are all blue. So to set up the correct weight for our needle, we need to check the specifications of our particular needle. Now I know that this needle needs a +3 weight on it. So to do that, we need to know where 0 is, and for that we need to make our Tonearm float in midair. So first of all, I'm just going to put this up so our needle doesn't hit the platter. Going to move it into the platter and then set the weight back quite a bit, so all the weight is towards the back of our Tonearm. Just going to release this, and we need to move it back some more. And now we can see our Tonearm is facing upwards, so obviously it's not going to hit any record. So if we put that down there slightly and release, it floats back up. So we now need to make sure that this is balanced and perfectly in the air, and we do this by just adding some more weight to the Tonearm. Taking some off as necessary until our Tonearm floats level. Now as we can see, it's not touching the turntable and is floating in midair. So I'm just going to raise this up so we don't accidentally hit the needle on our platter. Holding the weight, you can move these numbers around without moving the weight forward or backwards. And where we have this line on our Tonearm, I'm going to set that to 0. And now I need +3 weight. So we need to move the weight forwards so that number 3 is around here. So I'm going to move the weight forward to +3. And now that is set to the correct specification of our needle. So now we have the needles for both turntables correctly calibrated. We can now make sure that our levels for our inputs for each turntable don't peak or hit and go into the red. So we'll put the needle back onto the record. It doesn't really matter where we are. We'll press play, and we are hitting just around +7, which is perfect. If we go into the red, which we are here, that's far too loud and we need to knock some volume out. What you do need to make sure is that you place the needle on potentially the loudest part of each song. So I'm going to put that forward there. We are still slightly hitting the red 10 there, so I'm going to drop some gain out. And I know that we're now not going to clip and have badly distorted audio. So we'll do the same now for our right turntable. We're still hitting the red mark there, and we will just take that down, making sure that we are not peaking. We just put this forward to the nice loud part of the song, I just noticed we were still hitting 10 there. Each turntable will be slightly different, so as you can see the gain for our left is slightly higher than our gain for our right. So we can just take that up slightly, still making sure we don't peak into the red there. So now that we have our inputs working, we want to make sure that the master output is also not peaking as well, and where we can have our maximum level. Now I'm going to mute this part of the video so I don't get copyrighted, but you will see the master output here. So we have vinyl on our right turntable. I'm going to push the volume slider up, make sure that the crossfader is in the middle if you have a crossfader activated. I don't, as I turn the crossfader off. I don't use a crossfader while DJing. And I'm now going to play the vinyl and find the correct level for our output. This is a very good mixer as it shows our output meter here. Some mixers don't, but this one does. So I'm going to mute this part of the video, but you will see the audio levels both into the channel and then out to the speakers here. So as you can see, the maximum that we could get up to was 7 there without going into the red line. We never want to go in the red. That means the audio out from the mixer and into your speakers is too loud and distorted. And as you can see, we're just around the 3 o'clock mark on our level there. So we don't want to go any louder than that. So next I'm going to give you a brief overview of the Pioneer DJM-800. You can still pick these up on eBay in very good condition for a couple of £100. I would highly recommend this mixer. 4-channel mixer, so it means you can mix all 4 channels at one time, and you can also have 2 inputs per channel. So potentially you can hook up 8 different parts of equipment to this mixer at any one time. So laptops, CDJs, turntables, you name it. If it's got a input, you can hook it up to this. Lots of different effects on here, and as you can see on the effects here, we have a vast array of effects that you can use. Each channel has its own cue, and we've also got 4 different color effects. So harmonic, sweep, crush and filter, which are controlled with these knobs here. EQ effects per channel, with a gain per channel, which I spoke about earlier when we were setting up the gain for our turntables, and sliders for each channel as well. Plus we have a crossfader here, which we can control which side of the crossfader controls which channel. Headphone inputs here obviously, and we can select how much of our music we hear. If we want to hear just our main out, then we can change this all the way to master, or if we just want to hear the cue of a particular channel or all of the channels, just turn the cues on there and we turn our headphone monitoring round to cue, and we've also got volume there. Also got 2 microphone inputs, so mic 1 takes an XLR and jack input, and mic input 2 is just jack, and we have basic high and low EQ for each microphone, and we've got gains for each microphone there as well. And this selector here, although it's a little worn, we have on, which turns on our microphone, and talk over, which when we talk on our microphone will duck the channels so that our voice is louder than the music. Very handy that, especially if you're presenting on a radio or have an MC rapping over your music. So once you've got your setup working, the next thing you can focus on is finding great music. Now, sometimes if you know you're going to get into vinyl DJing and you're going to be serious about it, I would recommend buying a few tracks before you get your equipment, because there's no point having equipment and then having nothing to play on it. There are loads of places you can get secondhand vinyl these days, car boot sales, special vinyl shops, and even online record stores such as Discogs. Just go out there, find great music, crate dig. It's a brilliant thing to do. It can pass a few hours of your day and you'll find some great music. So there we go, a very high level view of setting up a pair of Technics SL-1210 MK2 turntables with a Pioneer DJM-800 and setting up your stylus and the mixer to get good quality audio out from the mixer. So if you've ever wanted to get started in vinyl mixing, I recommend getting a pair of vinyl turntables. Vinyl is on the up again. More DJs are going back to vinyl. It also looks cool to mix on vinyl, I think. So in the next coming videos, I will show you the basics of playing music with your turntables and also basic beat matching. So until the next video, stay safe and I'll see you in the next one.